Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Arrogant. So the Feast of Lanterns has come around again, and with it we can obtain a companion, the Yojimbo companion. Now this companion is supposedly a fairly decent attack companion, and it also has, as I showed in my previous video, the ability to intercept damage, making it supposedly pretty good for when you are tanking things. Now we're going to go and actually test this out, but first I have to obtain this Yojimbo companion. Now I can either go and look on the auction house and purchase it here for over 3.7 million astral diamonds. Now this is nuts because that's nearly 5,000 Zen, but if I go to himself over here, casually leaning against the pillar, and we go interact with him, and we can purchase him from the Zen market in this events tab. It will cost you, however, 1,500 Zen. Now if you were to use the Astral Diamond exchange, this would be just over 1.1 million Astral Diamonds. However, we all know at this point there is something seriously wrong with the Astral Diamond exchange, and the backlog is just ridiculous. And it's definitely taking a while before we can actually get any Zen. And I'll go over it in a future video. But that aside, I'm going to go and yes, I'm going to purchase him from the Zen market here, as I have managed to obtain this Zen through this Astral Diamond exchange a while back, and hopefully I shall be able to obtain more within the future, but we'll have to see. But that being said, I've now obtained it, and with that you can now obtain it for free on all of your other characters. It's been retroactively made account wide, which is very handy. So if you bought it before ever on your account, you can now claim it for free on all of your other characters. So here we have the companion. So I'm going to go and test him out on my actual DPS character, where I have a build that specifically was built up to enhance the amount of damage that companions can deal, and we'll go and compare them against the other famed companions like Xuna or the Chicken or some other companions which are performing pretty well after these combat changes. Alright, so here we are. We have Yojimbo. Now of course we're going to go and upgrade him all the way to Mythic so we can fairly compare him against the other Mythic companions like the ones I have here. So we're going to test him against mainly just the Abyssal Chicken and Xuna, and then I've also went and I also showed you guys the Lightfoot Thief also does pretty well, along with the Black Death Scorpion and even the Batiri. Now we'll see what type of attacks and such he does, and I believe he's primarily a single target companion, but I have yet to actually see, and he will be able to deal damage to enemies in a large cone. So we'll go and we'll attack a dummy. And Yojimbo will do his charge attack there, dealing over 60k damage, and then he starts slashing the target with his attack. And now if we give him combat advantage, you can see he's dealing up to 40,000 on those hits there. I'm going to activate the combat log here, and we can go and actually record how much damage he's dealing. Now it seems he went out of combat advantage there with me, and we're going to reset that fight there. Opening my act log here, and we should be able to record exactly what he does. So we enter combat here, attack the dummy, and then he'll do his thing. And now we need to ideally give him combat advantage, but we'll see how effective that is. So you can see he's hitting there fairly strong with those crits, and even when he deflects, he's still dealing over 30,000 damage per hit. And this is his kind of charge ability, dealing over 100,000. But then he's staying on this side of the target, so I'll need to rotate to make sure he has combat advantage. And that might be an issue when you're running just you. But when you have other companions like the tank and such, they're generally a lot easier to make sure you gain combat advantage. And that was his power there. And I believe that lunge power is the intercept one, where he's jumping in front, where he will increase his damage and teleport to your location, deflecting 25% of the damage you take. And we'll test that out then on an actual fight where we do take damage. So I'll test it on my tank. Now he is a bit annoying that he will move out of combat advantage, so it'll make it harder for me to test, especially when just talking to you guys here. So I'm going to have to pay attention, and we'll do a 5-minute test and see what we come up with overall in how much damage is he dealing with combat advantage. So there we go, we have our 5-minute test complete, and with that we can see he dealt just over 20,000 encounter DPS. Now this is on my build, but we can go and compare this with the other companions, and we see that Xuna is dealing a good bit more damage. However, this is tested on where she can hit multiple targets. There's no area where she only has one dummy which she can hit. She can either hit 2 in Chalt or multiple different ones. So she's there hitting 3 different dummies, so that makes it that she does more damage through those bleeds. But we can say on a single target she will deal up to 30,000 encounter DPS, which is a good bit more than what Yojimbo can deal. And then if we go and look at the Abyssal Chicken, we can see it's actually performing a little bit worse than Yojimbo. But if we go and look at the Black Death Scorpion, which is also dealing fairly similar damage to Yojimbo, but it has slightly better at 22,000. So is Yojimbo going to be worth this 1,500 Zen to obtain? Well, for a DPS who just wants to deal more damage with an active companion, no, that's not going to be the case. You're better off with something like Xuna or even the Lightfoot Thief, which we had there dealing over 35,000 encounter DPS to a single target, just because he hits a good bit more often than, let's say, like Yojimbo. And also the ability with Yojimbo teleporting to beside you can be a disadvantage, especially when you're solo, because he won't give you that combat advantage anymore. Whereas like at least the Lightfoot Thief will stay where he is, except he will teleport behind the target. And most times you'll have the aggro, so that's not a bad thing, and thus you'll be flanking it. So finally I'd like to go and look, what does he do on a tank character where you have this companion and he can intercept the damage. So let's go and see, does that actually work as we would think it does. So here I am on my tank, and I have Yojimbo here too, and we're queuing up to Tower of the Mad Mage to see, does he actually make much of an impact with intercepting that damage. Now initially I'm not going to use my shield or anything to block any of the damage, and you should see a shield marker if his ability actually intercepts that damage. At least that's what I'm expecting to see. So we jump in to fight Halaster. So I'll go and take the aggro, and he'll attack me. He does that shield thing, and we can see that he did go and block that damage. Now how much did he block? Well, we should be able to see it there, and we can see, yes, it's 50,000 damage, and he was intercepting what Halaster was dealing to me there, over 600,000 base damage, which dealt me to 159,000 damage, and Yojimbo intercepted 50,000 of that. So that's pretty good. However, that ability has a cooldown, and other companions which can intercept damage are ones like the Angel of Protection right here, and it has the ability to not just intercept one attack, but a few within the time frame of 10 seconds, as we can see there, but the cooldown is 60 seconds. So we go again and we aggro him, and he'll start hitting us. I won't use my shield, and we should get those shield markers as soon as the angel starts intercepting damage. And we saw it there. It's pretty huge how much damage the ward is intercepting. You can see there, it was 400,000 there, just over, along with another nearly 300,000 there. That is just nuts. However, it will again only last about 10 seconds and then the ward is over. And on top of that, the companion is very good at to give you that extra defense, along with healing you just a little bit. So yes, the Angel of Protection is definitely a lot better than Yojimbo at intercepting damage. But we have a third counterpart here. We have the Lion, which again can go and intercept damage, but it can do it all the time. It will intercept 10% of the damage allies take when you're within 5 feet of it. So we go and we attack Halaster, and if we stand next to our lion should intercept that amount of damage no matter the time. It's not like a cooldown thing at all, which is the huge advantage of the lion. As long as you're standing next to him, you will have that damage intercepted all the time, which is a huge advantage of the lion. But the problem is you'll need to stand next to him, and what if he stands next to the DPS and not you, etc, etc. So overall, all things considered, The Lion is one of the best intercept damage, helps you be more tanky, along with the Angel of Protection. The drawback on the Angel of Protection is she has that 60-second cooldown before she can do it again. And unfortunately, Yojimbo just doesn't cut it in all things considered. He won't deal an exuberant amount of single target DPS to be competitive with DPSers like Xuna or the Lightfoot Thief. And there's other ones out there which may even deal more damage than them. And he won't intercept as much damage as these other companions which we just tested, the Lion and the Angel. So, unfortunately, Yojimbo, he just ain't gonna be good enough, and that's my verdict. No, he's not worth it whatsoever. So hopefully you guys haven't gone and needlessly spent the AD or Zen to purchase him. He is really cool, and the concept is really cool for this event as well, having like a samurai companion. So that being said, hopefully I presented this well, and if I did, consider leaving the video a like, and if you're new around here, consider subscribing, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.